Well, the Premier League's over. I made a predictions video 9 months ago. It's time to go over it and compare it to how it actually went. I'll start from the bottom and work our way up, figure out the mistakes, maybe, if I know what I'm talking about, go into what happened. And yeah, if it's about Brentford, which I will spend a lot of time on them, I will go into depth on why we succeeded, probably. So, we start off. Bottom. Number 20, 20th place, relegated. Poor Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, I actually did figure they were going down. I didn't think 20th, but compared to the other, relegation candidates, us, West Ham, Wolves, I felt like they were the weakest, as they'd lost their striker and no, it wasn't their striker, it was their attacking mid, Mateus Cunha and Out Noari, or whatever his name is. And later in the season, didn't they also lose Jurgen Strand Larsen, or did they buy him? Something about him happened. They ended up getting a little better, but they still sucked. So then I had Burnley at 20th, who were 19th. I'm pretty happy with this one. Burnley, they can't stick around anymore. They're a slingshot club or whatever. I think that's the name for them. Just come on up and then shoot right back down. They're there for the money. They destroy the championship whenever they're there. And it should be interesting. I think, I will be honest, they should have gotten a point off of us in that game we had there. VAR gave a rough handball. I take those 3 points, because without them we'd be there. So it's very helpful, but I feel bad. I really do. Next, we go on to 18th. Or we're going to go... I'm confused. 18th was West Ham. I had them at 16th. I knew they were bad. I thought they'd improve. They were bad. They did not improve enough. It's sad, but having 2 promoted sides stay up is good for the it's good for the league, because the last 2 seasons it was up down, 3 up, 3 down, and even my team Brentford was kind of part of this group where they were the only one of the 3 to stay up. I think we've done really well since. And now we go here to 17th place, Tottenham Hotspur. I had them in 10th. I don't know what I was thinking. It doesn't make sense. Well, actually, no, it does make sense. Why I thought they'd spent a bunch of money. They had all these really good players. Polina, he's good. Xavi Simons, Vicario's a great keeper. Mickey Van de Ven, Romero. They have a great line there. Those are really good players. Apparently not. Apparently they're awful. And cycling out these coaches one after another. I think they went through, was it 3, including Thomas Frank, from who they took from us. I don't understand. I guess having European competition helps or hurts, but not that much. They still sucked a little. I think they won their last 2 games, which kept them. I wanted them to get relegated. I feel bad for West Ham. I thought they had that. If I click on their what were their stats looking like? 11 goals. Yeah, they just kind of sucked. Those are just bad stats, actually, as it turns out. Next, though, I can only talk about Tottenham so long. Nottingham Forest, 16th. I had them 12th because they were coming off that really good season. I guess I figured that they didn't need Elanga that much. I don't know. They had a miracle run. I suppose I should have just kind of realized that. And they ended up losing Europa League semifinals to Aston Villa, who, good on them, won it. And then, yeah, not really much to talk about. I kind of forget they exist sometimes. They did beat us twice in the season with Brentford. That one hurt. I was kind of hoping we'd take more points off of them since they're 16th. But it is what it is. And Crystal Palace, where did I have them? I had Crystal Palace in 11th, not 12th, because anyway, they didn't get 12th either. Crystal Palace, they lost Gehi in the mid-transfer window. I don't think that helped them at all, but I think they had done enough in the early season to get by. They could manage. They tied with us pretty close to the end, which Brentford, we'll talk later about that. But I think they were okay. They're in the Conference League final, which is good for them. If they win that, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. 14th, Leeds United. I didn't have to say I had them 17th because I didn't know much about them when they came up, since it had been a couple years since I saw them, and then only since then I'd really gotten into the league. So I didn't know what their base was looking like. I knew like nobody on that team except Brenton Aronson, because America, let's go, yeehaw. They did fine. Again, in my opinion, a very forgettable team. They just, they're right here. The points were close, actually. Points were really close. So, it is what it is. And Everton. I had them 14th, they were 13th. That's pretty good in my opinion. That's a pretty good prediction in my opinion. Now, I don't know what happened, because like 3 weeks ago they were on our tail. They were on us, and then they just dropped out apparently. They forgot how to play in the last couple weeks, which is sad for them. They had hope. Yeah, 2 points in 5 games is not good. That might be like some of the lowest points actually. It's like, yeah, Burnley and Crystal Palace level points right there. That's not good. That's not good. I will. David Moyes, he did really good though for the first half of the season. Apparently, Everton starts their attack a lot, which I could see that. They still did I think they still beat us though in the second game, which sucked. And oil money. Oh, oil money. They stunk it. I thought I had them 5th because they had oil money, and I wasn't sure if they were going to keep Isak or not. Oh. I talked about. I don't know what I was doing. Newcastle, maybe they should have been like here at least in my rankings, but dang, they just sucked. Brentford got the double on them. That was amazing for us. They just lacked the quality I expect from a team with as much money as they should have. And maybe the oil money isn't exactly theirs, and they don't get much of it. But still, you're not helping at all with your ownership group. And 11th, my least favorite team in the league, Fulham. You guys are better than I thought. Barely. I still hate Harry Wilson. He can not come to the G-Tech. That'd be great if he didn't. But they did fine. Challenged for Europe for a while, but I don't think they really ever had much on us. We were just a little better, I feel like. They were part of that horrific streak that we had, drawing every game. Oh, here's a bad one. Here's a bad one. One of the last bad ones I've got coming up here. Chelsea. I thought after the Club World Cup they'd be great. They'd be challenging. Cole Palmer, he's great. They seem to have a bunch of quality. João Pedro, Liam Delap. Well, Liam Delap, I've never heard his name really in the league ever since it started. And João Pedro was fine. He was good. But sometimes quiet. And they just weren't that good, I guess. You'd figure with the amount of money they spent, they'd be okay. But they don't scout. They don't have a scouting group, apparently. They have one guy who looks at statistics, probably. Oh, that looks cool. And then they sign the guy. And loan him off to Strasbourg or whatever the second team's called in France. I don't remember. Details aren't important. And now we get to my beautiful, beautiful bees. I had them tipped. Oh, did I close the... What the... Let's fix this. You know what? We'll just do this. Can I... Nope, that doesn't help at all. Alright. Basically, we did great. I thought we were getting 15th because we lost Mbeumo, we lost Wissa, we lost Flecken, our keeper, who, granted, he was fine. We lost our coach, replaced him with a new guy, Keith Andrews. We lost everybody, our captain even. And what did we do? We did better than the season prior. We improved upon our last season in terms of position. Last season we got 10th. This season we got 9th. Tied for our highest position. I don't think it's our highest points. But we were challenging to get up to the final day. The team that I think was one of the most tipped for relegation, we survived. And we did better than I expected. I didn't think Igor Thiago was going to get 22 goals in a season. Granted, like 9 of them were PKs. But those are still goals. And he is now being called up to the Brazilian national team as a striker. Which I think, when you look at our team, we're mid-table English team. You don't expect the possible, I hope he does, starting Brazil striker to be from Brentford. You wouldn't expect that. You'd expect it from Liverpool or Chelsea or Man United even after their season. You don't expect it from Brentford. And I think that shows how much we've improved. How good we are compared to the league. We didn't have to, win every game to show that it was not a relegation scrap. It was a European scrap. We were in a Champions League position briefly because 5th place. Like, I had hope. Granted, I didn't do anything with that. I collapsed for a couple minutes after the missed opportunity in the Liverpool game. But Europe is not good for the team. I wanted it, but it's not good for the team. We need to stick around, boost the depth a bit, which we've already done, signing a center back from Salzburg. Youth center back. That should be great. I can't wait for next year. I think we're getting Europe next year. But that's enough Brentford. I love them. They're great. Shota needs to get sold. Please, he's not very good anymore. 8th, Brighton, Hove Albion. I got that one right completely. Had them 8th, they got 8th. It's just that feeling, that vibe that, hey, they're probably pretty good. I think I said that in my video. I'm happy I was right. It makes the next one feel better a little. I am not useless at positioning. That's like the only one I got completely correct, though. Because next is Sunderland. Yeah, Sunderland's here. I put them 19th. I don't know. I thought Granit Xhaka was washed. He was not. I thought they wouldn't be that good in the transfer. They were really good in the transfer window, apparently. Yeah, that I think that's the worst. That's the worst one on the in terms of like raw positioning. I think I believe it's the worst because even Chelsea isn't that bad. It's only double-digit mistake, which I guess that's good. I guess. Next, I really proud of Sunderland. I mean that I believe I saw it's tied for the best promotion team ever. Coming from that, because they were the playoff winner. They went from playoff winner to Europa League. That's really good. That's really impressive. Sixth is Bournemouth. I knew they were good. They sold Dean Huijsen to Real Madrid, but I figured they were solid. Man, they were still very solid. They outperformed me a little bit. That's good. I always want to be proven wrong by a team like that. I don't know what Iriel is going to be doing now because I think his contract's up and he hasn't signed a new one. They sold they sold Semenyo, and I think they did better after selling Semenyo, which is great. They sold like their best player and did better. Wonder how that feels. I'm a little jealous. They did really well. I am interested to see though how their depth will treat them, because Europa League that's not the Conference League. There is a difference in quality there. So I am intrigued. Fifth place, we go who I voted as the champion. I thought, they signed Isak, they signed Katike, their attack was going to be great. They signed Florian Wirtz. Wirtz was awful. He is awful. Frimpong did fine, but he was a bench warmer, which sucks. He signed Kirkes, bench warmer. Sucks, I think. I didn't keep up much with them, despite the fact that I have a friend who's a Liverpool fan. It just was bad. They were okay in the beginning, and then they forgot how to play. They got beat by Brentford at the G-Tech. I think they were in poor form, and they just weren't very good. Well, I mean, they were still fifth place. They were still Liverpool. They were great, but even on the final day, I could tell towards the end of the game we were outplaying them. We were doing better. I'm gonna check out these kids after as well. And then Aston Villa, fourth. They won the Europa League. I had them sixth. I knew they were good. They were a solid team. The beginning of the year was interesting for them. They were awful. They were really bad in the beginning of the year, like the first few games. And then they remembered how to play, and things got pretty good for them. Still pulled a double on them, I think. Did we pull the double on Villa? I think we did. I know we beat them twice. Once in Cup. I know we beat them in the Carabao Cup as well. Not much to speak on them. I think they beat City on the final day, which was really fun. Kept Bournemouth out of Champions League. That was gonna be a rough form though. Third. Here's like the last really bad one. United. They brought in Bumo, they brought in Cunha, they sacked Amorim. I think sacking Amorim was the big one, because Amorim did not fit their playstyle. He was the 3-4-3 is not a good formation when you have slow people on your team. It isn't. And so when you have Casemiro, who locked in, you have Casemiro, you have Harry Maguire. Those guys aren't fast. They're good at what they do, but they're not fast. And I think that was kind of one of the main problems. Amorim just he didn't adapt. Great job to Bruno Fernandes getting the Player of the Year and breaking the assist record. That's really cool. That's impressive. He played well. He deserves it, because he does not get the trophies he deserves. Second, City. Erling Haaland's a monster. Really wish that Thiago got the Golden Boot instead, but it's the Viking, so I cannot be totally surprised. He's a monster. They brought in plenty of players. Poor James Trafford got brought in. He's like going to be this whole new thing, and then they got Donnarumma. And, well, you can't compete with Donnarumma, it turns out. That's a hard thing to do. Yeah, they're good. Man City's good, but they even had the lead, and they ended up bottling it to Arsenal, who they deserve it. I know people who are Arsenal fans. It's been long enough. They had to wait 22 years. You know what? If there's a time to do it, it was now. Man City brought in a bunch of people. They brought in Gyökeres, but I think they just figured it out. I'm gonna say it was Norgard because I have to have Brentford. We got to be the best, and I think he didn't do anything. But they're still in the Champions League. I don't think they're going to beat PSG. I think their defense is good. PSG's attack, I think, is going to be better. It's going to be interesting, though. They've got a chance. They got to get like 3 corners, and I think they could do it. But until then, I'm going to say PSG wins. Arsenal, corners, set piece FC. I'm glad that everyone forgot that Brentford's long throws are really good. Because Michael Coyote is amazing. He's a great defender. His long throws are the greatest I've ever seen. I hope no one takes him. I figure Arsenal will be making a bid for him, though. But anyway, those are predictions, reactions, whatever. I don't know what to call this. I think how compared to... Oh, it's a lot shorter than my last one because I'm talking more. Makes sense. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll try and tag this to get a few views. Anyway, farewell. Oops.